Hello everybody, I'm Sharpened Blade, and today we're going to take a look at the Civivi Lumi. I got this from Integrity Knives. They're currently sold out right now, but they will have more, I'm sure. I'll leave a link in the description to Integrity Knives website where you can find this when they're back in stock, and many other knives, and you can use discount code Sharpened Blade to receive 10% off your order. So make sure you check them out. It'd be muchly appreciated, and I'm sure they can help you find your next knife. So this is a Justin Lundquist design. This is a really nice, I fell in love with the design actually. I think this is one of my favorite Civivi designs so far this year. I don't know why. I guess it's just like, it looks very different. So the blade, it's like I don't know, I would call it a drop point. It's a very, very aggressive drop point. It's very pointy looking, and it's got a hollow grind, 14C28 and blade steel, and it's extremely thin. So take the very thin blade stock and combine that with the hollow grind, and you've got a very slicey blade. But back to the design, it's just a very, I don't know, it's very cool looking. It's a very different looking design, and I like that. The G10 has, if you can see, maybe my hands are blocking the, has kind of like a wood grain effect to it. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but that looks really nice. I like that. I doubt they're going for a wood grain look, but it's just however they mill the G10, that's how it looks. So that's really cool. It's got a deep carry pocket clip. The clip isn't inset. Just try to get this to focus here. It's not inset into the G10, although they do mill it. I'll get into that in a second, but at least the pocket clip screws are flat, so it slides in and out of the pocket very easily. It's a great it's a great fifth pocket knife, and it's just it's nice to have a smaller secondary knife that's extremely slicey. That way, if your primary carry happens to dull or something, it's you're good to go with this one. But it'll still work as a primary knife if you're not allowed to carry bigger knives. This will still work. But yeah, it's a very attractive design. I really like it. There's not much to, like, it's a very flow through designed knife. You basically just have your pivot and then your back spacer, little pillar right here. You could probably put a lanyard on there, but I don't know if that would. Here, let's see. You can put a very thin lanyard on there. You don't have a whole lot of room. It's not focusing really well. I don't know if it's because the camera sees my face or why. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So there's a little bit of room there for a lanyard on here if you wanted to, but just make sure it's very thin. It's got a bit of skeletonization inside on the liners, quite a bit up here, and then on the lock side there's a bit more, a little bit smaller because they have to make room for the lock, obviously. But, and speaking of lock, it is a liner lock. It's locked up at about 50%, maybe a little bit less, but everything's very thin. The blade's very thin, and the liner's relatively thin. I don't mind that much of a lockup on it. It's more secure. It is a top flipper. They call it a front flipper. It could be a front flipper, top flipper, whatever you would like to call it. The action is extremely snappy. It's not super drop shutty. It's such a small, thin, light blade that it's not super drop shutty. But now my hands caused me some grief with this, with the top flipper part. The arthritis in my fingers really messes that up, but it works well. I'm sure it would be 100% fine for anyone with like regular fingers. It just messes up on my hands because everything's kind of bent weird. But it is extremely snappy. When I can get it to deploy, it's extremely snappy. It's just, I'm not a real good example for this. So I apologize to everyone that's watching this and being like, what the heck, what's going on? But it's not the blade, it's just me. I can get it most of the time, but not today, not. But yeah, it works. And then you can kind of do like that lighter. I don't know if I can get this to work or not, but yeah, I can't get it to work. But sometimes I can get it to work like you're using a lighter. So that works pretty cool. It is fun to fidget with, but it's just not, doesn't work well with my fingers. Overall, it's a very nice knife. Fit and finish, typical Civivi fit and finish, pretty much perfect. The blade centering is right on, dead center. And to go back to this, I guess this could probably be in the fit and finish as well. One thing that I can find to complain about is this milled out spot here for the pocket clip. It's nice that they include that so that left-handed people have a little bit easier time carrying it. But this is very square. They milled that out. I'll show it more. At the end of the videos I do the specs and the size comparisons so on tabletop. So I'll show it more there. But it's very square here, and you can feel it's not sharp, but you can feel it when it's in your hand. It's kind of weird that they did that. I think they should have just left it alone and not milled out of space, because the pocket clip still sits on top of the scales. So to me that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, they couldn't go down too far with the milling, because then it might affect the G10, because it's very thin. It's a thin G10 as it is, because it's such a small thin knife. So if they milled it down too much, they might be worried about it cracking. So I could see why they didn't mill it down super far, but I don't know, I think it would have been nicer without that milled out spot. Just hit it flat both sides, because the clip's already sitting on top of the G10 pretty much. So just have it sitting right on top of it. And also, this clip is horrible for this knife. Might as well go into ergos. Oh, I got it, and I didn't have it on camera, but I got it to open. But anyways, the ergos of the knife itself are good. It's such a neutral blade, the blade shape. It's such, don't hold the blade when you hold the knife. It's such a neutral handle shape that, you know, it's gonna fit most hands. Some people might find it too small. I find it very best. It's a, you know, it feels good in hand. The only thing is this pocket clip is almost as big. It's like half as big as the handle, and it's very tall in relation to the rest of the handle. I think they should have just put a milled pocket clip on this, a milled titanium one. Not only would that have looked nicer, because gotta be honest with you, Civivi, I'm getting tired of this pocket clip. It's on all your knives. Maybe switch it up a little bit. You know, it might not complain as much about the same pocket clip on everything if you didn't have 1,000 different models coming out every time you turn around. But anyways, just maybe think about the pocket clips a little bit longer. It works great on full-size knives, but on a smaller knife like this, it's a little bit, not really, I wouldn't call it a hot spot, but you can definitely feel it. It would be nicer with a milled pocket clip, I think. I mean, it works fine. It goes into the pocket easily enough, probably more so than a milled pocket clip would allow, and it wouldn't be as much of a hot spot. But yeah, like you don't really need to worry about this being a hot spot on the knife anyways, because this is not a hard use knife by any stretch of the imagination. It's so thin that I'm sure the blade would probably snap if you tried to like really use it hard in wood or something, like a harder material. But it is very slicey, so it's great for opening boxes and cutting cardboard. No problem there. Maybe thicker cardboard might cause a little bit of a problem, like really thick hardcore cardboard, but no, as for your basic EDC tasks around the office or whatever, this knife is perfect for that. And, you know, try one more time. Almost got it. But yeah, don't look at me trying to deploy this knife and see how hard, how much I'm struggling with it, and then think it's no good. The action, I can get it most of the time, and the action is super snappy on this. It's really satisfying, but just, you know, I just have a hard time with it. But yeah, overall, it's a nice knife. A few things I would change, but it is a nice knife. I gotta say, another nice Civivi. Actually, you know what? It's nicer than most Civivis. For me, I like the design language a lot more on this than a lot of the other Civivis I have. It's just very, very different. So yeah, we'll switch over to tabletop mode now, give you a closer look at this, and then show you some specs and some size comparisons. Okay, so here's the knife. Just a little bit closer up so you can see a little bit better what I was talking about was that design in the G10. And there is the milled out spot for the pocket clip. Like I say, it's pretty square, so it's not sharp like it's going to cut you, but you can definitely feel that squared edge. They probably could have chamfered it a little bit there to make it feel nicer, but it's okay. It's just kind of useless. And see there, that worked better there. So I'll put some specs on here now. And then we'll do some size comparisons. So we have the Rat 2. So it doesn't want to sit up. There we go. Have the Rat 2 and the Rat 1. So it's kind of dwarfed by both of them, to be honest. And a few more Civivi comparisons. So we have the Baby Banter, and the Elementum. Doesn't want to stand up. All right. And we have the Appalachian Drifter, the non-locking one, and the Mini Asticus. So it's a pretty small knife. It's not super small, but it's definitely smaller. Bring back the Baby Banter again. You can see that it's bigger than the Baby Banter, but the Baby Banter with that forward finger 12 does give you more usable space to hold the knife for the grip. But anyways, yeah, this is the just a closer look at the Lumi. An excellent design from Justin Lundquist, and just a great solid offering for a pocket knife. So thanks so much for watching. Take care.